Hello, everyone. Welcome to Body Bags. I'll be your reviewer for today. I'm Lonnie from Horror Heaven77, and this is a Rob Zombie movie from 2009. Same, and no, it's not H2. I talked about that one already, but this is a Rob Zombie movie from 2009. That even though I've talked about a few Rob Zombie movies on here, I've never talked about this one. So I thought I'd go ahead and may as well go ahead and discuss it. This is a movie you never really hear too many people talk about this one. So I thought, yeah, I'd go ahead and discuss it. The movie we're talking about is his cartoon movie, The Haunted World of El Superbeasto. And this movie, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, either you're on the train or you're not. Um, you're going to be split right down the middle. Either people are going to love this movie or they're going to hate it. Personally, I really enjoyed it. I thought this movie was a lot of fun. I really had a good time with it. It's 77 minutes. It goes really by really quick. The story is fast and furious, and it's interesting. And I guess I could kind of sum it up: wild, weird, and wonderful. But personally, I enjoy this movie a lot. Like I said, I know a lot of people don't, but anyway, yeah, the movie is written by Rob Zombie and Tom Papa, the comedian, right there, playing the voice of Super Beasto. I'd be willing to bet you probably though that I don't think Papa really had so much input into the script. I think he just more like I imagine Zombie wrote most of the stuff, and Papa probably just wrote like a lot of his lines, a lot of his dialogue, and everything else. Because Super Beasto, as he's referred to in the movie, he does talk a lot. So I imagine there's probably a lot of improvisation. Him coming up with lines and things like that for the character. But anyway, so the story is pretty simple. It's based off of a aside from being a musician and a filmmaker, Rob Zombie, he's also created a number of comic books, and El Superbeasto was one of them. And as you can see, he's a luchador, which, yeah, I mean, Rob Zombie has a thing about luchadors. And, I guess he's either, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's a big fan of, oh, what was the character? Samson, you know, or either that or else he just really likes, luchadors, uh, Spanish wrestling. I don't know. But anyway, the story is pretty basic. You got basically the world in which this takes place in is inhabited by monsters and horror icons, and you're going to see that in this movie. There are so many horror references in this movie that it's unbelievable. I mean, the very beginning of the movie is literally, um, basically Rob Zombie redoing the introduction to James Whale's Frankenstein. The only difference is when the announcer comes out, he says, Mr. Rob Zombie would like to, give a word of friendly warning. We're about to tell the tale of El Super Beasto. It may shock you, it may horrify you. So you get the idea. You see where it's going. And then basically, like I said, the world in which this movie takes place in is the whole world is inhabited by monsters and horror icons. You're going to see pretty much every single one of them. You're going to see Jason Voorhees in here. You're going to see Michael Myers. Of course, in this movie, the version of Michael Myers that Rob Zombie uses is his version from his movies. You can tell by the design and the look that it's meant to be modeled after his version of Michael Myers. But you got like Jack Torrance, you got the chest burster from Alien, you got all these horror characters, and you're gonna notice them. Hell, even at one point, even Baby Otis and Captain Spaulding from his movies House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, even they appear. And yes, the late great Sid Haig does do the voice of Captain Spaulding, and Bill Moseley comes in, does the voice of Otis, and but yeah, you never really, even though the character of Baby is in the movie, you never hear her talk. I don't know if that's because right now Sheri Moon Zombie is lending her voice to this character, Susie X. But okay, the storyline goes as this: in the world, El Super Beasto, he's considered something of a superhero, a man of action. When he's not, saving the world, fighting monsters, things like that, he's pretty much, making art films, as he calls them, which basically is porn. And then, and the opening scene I think is pretty funny because you have him doing this. He's doing a 3-way scene, and the women turn into monsters. One of the women is voiced by Cassandra Peterson Elvira. The other one is voiced by Dee Wallace. So it's a pretty funny scene. And pretty much like everybody you could think of that Rob Zombie knows is doing a voice in this movie. So like I said, you had those two. You got this, Sheri Moon Zombie, obviously. Rosario Dawson, she does a voice in here. Brian Posehn, obviously, he's doing a voice. The surprise here is Paul Giamatti as Dr. Satan. And I'll get to him in a minute. But yeah, you got like Ken Faree is doing a voice in here. Like I said, Bill Moseley, Sid Haig. Who else? Oh, man. Let's see. Did I say Ken Faree already? Danny Trejo does a voice in here. So, pretty much, yeah. Obviously, Rob Zombie called in all of his friends to come in and do the voices for this movie. Even Jeffrey Lewis, the late great Jeffrey Lewis and Lou Temple, they show up again and as Banjo and Sullivan. But really, like Jeffrey Lewis, his main character is the elevator operator, and that cracked me the hell up. You got Tom Kenny, who everybody knows, the voice of SpongeBob. He does the voice of the ape. And yeah, so Superbeasto, he's doing his thing. Meanwhile, his sister, Susie X, is, she's fighting, Nazi zombies, and she's fighting Nazi werewolves, and she's saving the world and all this kind of stuff. And she has this robot named Murray. And Murray is basically, he's something of a transformer. He can transform into a submarine, he can transform into a spaceship, he can transform into a motorcycle, whatever she needs him to transform into, he can do this. And the thing is what's really funny is why she built the thing is they do announce in this movie that Susie X built the character. She built this character of Murray. And for whatever reason, she gave him the biggest sex drive you've ever seen, even though everything with her is all tease. She's constantly teasing him. And, Murray, a lot of his dialogue is telling Susie how much that he loves her and he desires her. He wants to be with her and everything else. And he's, just so like devoted to her and things like that. And, so this is all going on. And then what ends up happening is the character of Dr. Satan, voiced by Paul Giamatti, and he does a great job. He's really, I'd have to say, Giamatti is pretty much kind of a show stealer here. He really does he does take over the movie. When he shows up, he really does command your attention as Dr. Satan. But the character of Dr. Satan, he's going to fulfill a satanic prophecy, and he's trying to find this woman who's going to be his bride, and she bears the mark, and the mark is basically kind of like the 666, like what you would see Damien, have on his head in The Omen, but in this case is on a woman's butt, and we find out it's actually on the butt of Velvet Von Black, who is voiced by Rosario Dawson here. And so they find out that it's her, that she does bear the mark, and so so Dr. Satan orders this ape that he has working for him, which he put a screw in his head to basically control him. And the ape, though, like I said, is voiced by Tom Kenny, and he has a British accent. He's very proper and refined, and he's talking about like he cooks gourmet food and all this other kind of stuff. And then, sorry, my throat's dry. And so he sends the ape to go kidnap her and bring her back to, make her his bride. Well, Beasto, he sees Velvet Von Black, and he is so determined he's going to get with her. And, when he goes to try to see if he can woo her with his charms, I guess you could call them, which basically is, like one of those hats that holds 2 cans of beers with the hose going down and flowers. And so, he sees the monkey trying to take Velvet Von Black, but ultimately at first he thinks they're just having some kind of weird kinky sex thing, so he's getting ready to go, and then he's like, oh, wait a minute, yeah, she's being kidnapped. And so anyway, he goes, and the monkey takes off with her. She takes her back to Dr. Satan, and they're getting all this thing ready that they're gonna get married. So what ends up happening is that Beasto basically just decides he just wants to kind of fart around. He's he's not really the best superhero in the world, even though many people see him as the best superhero. Many people categorize him as the best superhero. But what he ends up doing is he calls his sister Susie X and her robot um, Murray to come in and help. And basically, they kind of do all the hard stuff. They do all the legwork, and he just kind of farts around. And a lot of it is just him just whenever he's being a hero or something like that, or he ends up saving the day. A lot of it is just he ends up just kind of lucking into it, you know. But I'm going to try not to give away too much more. But like I said, ultimately you kind of stuck with Superbeasto and Susie X. They have to stop Dr. Satan before he can complete his ritual and make Velvet Von Black his bride, because once she becomes his bride, he's going to become all powerful, and he's going to take over the world. And the thing is, though, it's like, if you are a horror fan, though, I would definitely say, yeah, you might want to check this out just in case, because there are so many horror references there. Like I said, there's a reference to Frankenstein, there's a reference to Carrie, there's all kinds of stuff going on in here. And this movie really is kind of a horror lover's dream, and if you wanted a good horror cartoon, I would say this is it. Rob Zombie's humor, I'm going to be honest, isn't for everybody. Personally, I like it, like I said, but I can't guarantee this movie's going to appeal to everyone. But personally, I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought some of the jokes are pretty funny. This movie does have some replay value for me. I've watched it a few times. And it's a Rob Zombie movie that, it doesn't get a lot of love. And I kind of wish it would get, a little more love and affection that it's been getting. But you got a great cast here. They're all doing good with the voices. Rosario Dawson is Velvet Von Black. She gets in some good, funny lines. Trying to think of one right offhand. When the ape kidnaps her and everything else, and she farts, and he's all like, "Oh, ma'am, you are disgusting." She's all, "Don't fret, that shit smell good." He's like, "Oh, the plowman's lunch." But you got a great cast here. You got, like I said, everybody here. You got, Tom Papa, Sheri Moon Zombie, Rosario Dawson, Paul Giamatti, Brian Posehn, Danny Trejo, Sid Haig, Bill Moseley's, all that, Ken Faree, all that, so on and so forth. Fun little voice by Elvira, fun little voice by Dee Wallace, everything else. So yeah, I would definitely say give this a shot. This is, to me personally, that's the way I feel about this cartoon. Is like, it is a cartoon by a horror fan for the horror fans. And, just, I don't know. I say give it a shot. See if you could get into it. And it's sad that this movie really didn't take off more, because I would have liked to see more of this. But who knows? Maybe someday. You never know. So, all right. So anyway, so that's it. Yeah, I can't say too much more without giving away the plot, which I don't want to do. But one of my favorite lines from this movie, though, too, is Dr. Satan, where he's all like, "Love is a battlefield. Ah, the wisdom of Benatar." I don't know why, that just cracks me up. But anyway, so that's going to do it. So if anybody took the time to watch this, I thank you for doing it. I appreciate you for doing it. I also hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the Body Bags channel. We got a different reviewer for every day of the week. I'm normally the Saturday reviewer. We got great guys. Everybody's doing great stuff. And please, check out the other videos and come back and, enjoy. So everybody, take care. Have a good day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.